The new 2012 Mercedes.
You're listening to 680 The Fan's Friday Night Football, presented by Bulliva, Fifth Third Bank, and RBM of Atlanta. On the high school football voice of the South, 680 The Fan. W229HE Atlanta. Atlanta's sports station. WCNN North Atlanta. A broadcasting station. 680 The Fan.
Now on FM at 93.7.
And as we come back to Cobb Energy Stadium, Tyler Pritz will attempt a 39-yard field goal from the right hash. Here's the snap from his center, Zach Clower. The hold by Kendall Crute. The kick is up, and it is just inside the left upright for a 39-yard field goal for Tyler Prince. That is his long on the season. Previous long was 32 yards. Stretches the lead to 13-0, Joe. And that was a drive that could have put more points on the board, but they just had a couple of errant issues there with the bad snap and then a good job by the defense of Osborne. We talked about it, them sticking around. They've been doing it. They're undersized and they're overmatched, but they're playing David Goliath football here.
They really are. They are really playing with the heart of a lion here tonight, especially the defensive front. They're doing everything they can to put pressure on the offense and really stalemate the offensive line from getting any push and really open up the running game up in the middle.
Have an opportunity to return it up to the 5, to the 20, up to the 26-yard line, and finally dropped over there. The Kell Longhorns, Brendan Langley, make the tackle on Marcus Gray, but not before he brings it all the way out to the 26-yard line, and that's where Osborne will take over with 11:48 to go in the game. They trail by 13, and they're fighting hard and trying to stay in this one are the Cardinals.
They show they have the athletes to score at will. They have so much speed on this team. That's why being down 13 points, it gives them opportunity because two big plays, they're right back in this game, Carl.
As Jamari Towns stands 5 yards deep at his own 20, takes the snap, it's a low snap, picks it back up, runs head, just trying to get any positive yardage as he takes it up across the 25 to the, they'll mark it at the 27-yard line. He may have gained 2 yards on the play, but he was looking for Tim Harris coming over on the jet sweep, but he could not get it to him as the ball was snapped low, and Harris was past him by the time he got it. Pressure coming up the middle as well from Austin Lands, a backup defensive tackle for the Longhorns caused that commotion as well. It's second down and 8. Ball on the 28-yard line. Brings the man in motion. They'll give it to Nakeem Height. They're trying to get him in. Actually, that's the King Ishmael wearing number 6. The 8 and the 6 mixing up. He'll lose about a yard back to the 26-yard line as McIntyre making the stop for the Longhorns. They start to put a few of their backups in as well as it's McCain making the hit along with Brandon Louder for the Kell Longhorns. That'll bring up a third down and 9, 10:42 to go in the ball game.
This is totally different from the game plan they had coming out starting this half. You know, they was really trying to go up the middle, run the backs, pound them, pick up 2 or 3 yards, but now they're trying to do a little tricky reverse type plays that's not working against this well-coached Kell defense.
And Coach Xavier Smith wants to call a timeout, as that'll be his second of the half. They'll have one remaining. Kell has yet to use a timeout with 10:26 to go in the ball game. They trail 13-0, and it's a big third down coming up with third down and 9. Did you know that youth sports participation has been in a decline for decades, and rates of childhood obesity have tripled? It's a shame that some kids don't get the chance to play because the equipment is too expensive. With the help of Good Sports, the youth of Atlanta are getting that chance to play. Good Sports strives to give all the kids opportunity to play by putting brand new sports equipment into their hands. Join us in helping to get everyone in the game. Visit www.goodsports.org to donate today. And Joe, you've also got something going on to try to get more and more of the youth in. Talking about the juniors. You see all these all-star games with the seniors, but the juniors are getting their just due now with RisingSeniors.com and the Georgia Junior Bowl. Tell us a little bit about that.
The RisingSeniors.com and the Junior Bowl is an educational program. We actually just partnered with the National Football League last week, and we partnered with the National Football League Players Association, where they come down and take these gentlemen through a rookie symposium. This is a week-long life skills educational program. And to nominate your top juniors throughout the state of Georgia to be involved, visit www.RisingSeniors.com and nominate your top junior.
3rd down and 9. Tim Harris goes in motion from the left to the right. Looked like he may have started the line early. Towns wants to throw as the defender falls down. Harris with it at midfield. 45-40. 35 and pulled down at the 35-yard line, but not before the Cardinals pick up a big first down on a huge hiccup between Jamari Towns and Tim Harris. And now a Longhorn who made the tackle is down at the 35. They're waving him over, trying to get somebody to come take a look at him. Now the trainer's getting over there, but it looked like the defender was in the perfect position to either knock that ball down or intercept it, but then he fell down, and Tim Harris was able to pick up huge gain as they pick up yards there as they get a huge gainer.
That was a really big play for this Osborne offense because, they had a couple negative plays on their play, and to come up on a big 3rd down and make a huge gain of 35 yards and almost get the ability to score. And that's what scares you with this Osborne team. They have the athletes to score at will. If they just stay disciplined and make the plays and make the plays the coach put them in the best situations to make, this Osborne team is going to be something special.
Sticking around, and Taylor Hinkle, the outside linebacker, the man that's shaken up on the play, he's back up there. He'll be replaced by Clinton Adams, who will come in for Taylor Hinkle while they take a look at him. A lot of the starters are starting to get a little bit of a breather. Jordan Chambers, their star linebacker, hasn't played all night. He's also their punter, but they haven't really had to punt that much, so it hadn't been an issue. But he has not played since the 3rd snap of the ball game. Still trying to find out exactly what happened. Towns goes under center, brings in motion King Ishmael. Now a roll, looking to throws down the middle. It's a little bit of a wobbly pass. Julian Burris goes up, tries to knock it away, but coming down with it at the 1-yard line is Nakeem Height. Just used that 6'3" body to go up and get it. He's down at the half-inch line, and Osborne 6 inches away from getting into the end zone and making this a 9:52 to go in the game. A lot of confusion going on. Tim Crawford late to get off. 2 men go off. They've got to get this one off very quickly as the clock running down on them. Towns looking for somebody. I don't think he has enough people on there. They're going to have to use their final timeout of the ball game. Tim Harris and Jamari Towns call timeout. And Towns none too happy over there, Joe. A lot of confusion, substitutions coming in on and off, and that's just the part of it where he said they've got to learn their winning ways. When we talked to Coach Xavier Smith, he said these guys last year, they're starting to put more of the fundamentals together. Last year, they'd go out there and just use their athleticism. Now they're starting to put it together. That looked like it was like a throwback to last year with all that kind of confusion.
It really did, especially after a big play like that, to get up on the line fast and try to punch this in for a touchdown. But we see one of those RBM of Atlanta keys of the game coming out, having some success in the passing game. They're actually doing it here in the second half, and it's really paying dividends for them.
After the 34-yard pickup, they wanted to use that momentum, build on it, and then they have to call a timeout. Now they're the rest of the game, the rest of the 9:35 to go, they have no timeout, which could be crucial if they can put it in here and make it a 6-point ball game. So we'll just have to see how that affects the Cardinals the rest of the game and Coach Xavier Smith. But he definitely wanted to come out and not get pushed back 5 yards. This is the closest they've been to the end zone all night. As Jamari Towns looking over to the sideline, consulting with his fullback, J.C. Christian. Your left half is Tim Harris, right half King Ishmael. Now a flag goes up, so they just called a timeout, and now they're going to get a delay, illegal substitution actually going to go against Kell as they broke the huddle with 12 men. One man tried to run off. He just tried to sneak off behind the back, but they couldn't get off there, so they'll move it even closer to the end zone. Not much, because it's going to be half the distance to the goal line, so move it about 3 inches forward, Joe.
Yes.
All kinds of confusion.
All kind of confusion.
Just all kinds of confusion going on there. They break the huddle. Now they get back into it. Now they're ready to go. It's 9:35 to go. Ball, they'll say, is on the 1 yard line. It's more like on the 3 inch. As taking the snap, pushing forward, bowling ahead. Did he get in? They're going to say, no, he's down. I don't think you can get any closer to the end zone, but they're even closer now. It's like at the maybe 2 inch line as Jamari Towns called his own number, tried to go behind his center, but that's where that undersized offensive line comes into play against this Kell defensive line as they just pushed forward and stood up the offensive lineman in the front.
Number 55, Jordan Dwyer, is actually on the deep tackle. He actually stalemated Corey Clay on that last play and caused the pile up.
Second down and goal. Towns under center. Takes the snap. Hands off to J.C. Christian. Lunges into the end zone. Could have walked in, but they're in for 6. First 6 points of the ball game for the Osborne Cardinals with 8:52 to go in the game, bringing them that much closer as Gustavo Gomez will try to add the extra point to make it a 6-point ball game. They've got the swinging gate going over on the left sideline. Marcus Gray will hold. They call the 2-point conversion, snap it to the key height, and they get in, so it's even closer. It's a 5-point game now with the 2-point conversion. They snapped it to make it a 13-8 ball game, and we'll be back with the final 8:52 when we come back. You listen to 680 The Fans Friday Night Football Game of the Week. Back here at Cobb Energy Stadium at Longhorn Field, the Osborne Cardinals making it interesting with 8:52 left to go in the game as they just put 6 points on the board. No, they're going to say it didn't touch Brendan Langley, and it'll go into it's a touchdown as he let it go. Didn't matter. That's a live ball and a kickoff. Osborne recovers. Marcus Gray wisely in the back of the end zone. It looked like he was making the catch or letting it go over the end line, but it bounced just in front of it, the 1-yard line, and they're going to say no, it is a touchback that he. What are they called? That's not right. That should be a touchdown. He was at the 1-yard line, and if it didn't go into the end zone, which I guess they're going to say that's what happened, it looked like he moved forward and it bounced when he didn't touch it. So they just ripped this one out of the hands of Osborne. They could have just taken the lead on a wide hit, but the officials got together and said the ball landed about 6 into the end zone to make it a touchback. And although that's a live ball, once it crosses the goal line in high school football, you can't return it. So it was dead then, and it'll be a touchback coming out to the 20-yard line for the Kell Longhorns. So if we had you confused a second ago, I hope we just got you back on the right page as Osborne almost picks up a big crucial mistake by Brendan Langley, but he knew that the ball was flying deeper and into the end zone. Now the handoff to A.J. Redwine, right side, stood up at the 19-yard line. He'll lose about 1.5 yards as a big push by that defense. Khalil McIntyre coming up from the linebacker position for the Osborne Cardinals. And now the Osborne Cardinals on that RBM Atlanta keys to the game. Do not let the Cardinals hang around or it could be a huge upset. And now the Cardinals are starting to smell it. We've got the coaches just to our right as A.J. Redwine coming out of the game, favoring his right shoulder. But the Cardinals coaches just to the right of us, up on their feet and all fired up. Taking the snap is Clay Dodson, and hands off to Chris Gaines, and he's upended by Kai Wen. Wen all over the place tonight, standing probably 5'8", 5'9", would you say, Joe?
I love watching him play.
Maybe 175 pounds.
Probably
he's playing
wet.
like he's 6'1".
Wet.
Yeah. And he's come out of the game a couple of times favoring his shoulder, but every time he fights to get back in there. Just showing, like you said earlier, a lion's heart. 7:39 to go in the game. They trail by 5. It's a big 3rd down and 9 here. Taking the snap, rolling. Pressure coming from behind. Dodson pulls it down. Wynn chasing him. He's up to the 25. Stiff arms, but pulls him down. There's a flag on the play. Dodson thinks it's going to be a face mask as Marcus Gray pulls down. 2 flags on the play now. Wait to see what this is. This is either going to be a huge stop for Osborne or another big mistake on a personal foul, possible face mask as Harlan Johnson and his guys get together. They're discussing it, but all the momentum seems to have switched. Kai Wen is saying it's going against Kell, and it will. That's the first flag. Still talking about it. Trying to sort this one out. The only call Johnson has made is gone against Kell. The Osborne Cardinals crowding Harlan Johnson, trying to get their input. There's only one Kell Longhorn over there, and that's the center, Corey Clay. Still trying to sort this one out. Harlan Johnson will come to the middle of the field and now let us know what's going on. There's an illegal block in the back by Kell. It was declined by Osborne, and that'll bring up 4th down. So they get a huge stop there do the Osborne Cardinals, and they'll get a chance to get this ball back with 7:20 to go in the game, trailing by 5, 13-8. They kind of going to try to go for it here. Now they'll be back. First time we've seen Jordan Chambers since the first quarter. He's kind of listed as their punter. He'll stand just inside the 10 at the 9-yard line. Tim Harris will stand all the way back inside his own territory, dancing around between the 42 and 45. Now the coaches push him back to about the 40. Chambers coming in, his first punt of the game. Wobbly, high punt. Tim Harris takes it, calls for a fair catch at the 46-yard line, and that's where Osborne will take over as they're feeling all the momentum. At least the coach to my right here, directly to my right, is feeling kind of momentum. He's jumping up and down. He's all pumped up. He's trying to put that energy to his Osborne Cardinal team.
He really is. He have a lot to be excited about because this team is playing with so much energy right now. They feel it, and it's important that they finish this drive. If I was the coaches on this drive, I would go back to running the ball, try to eat up this clock, and try to score with seconds left on this clock.
Wholesale changes by the Kell Longhorns. Look like they're putting their first-team defense back in there full on as Chris Gaines goes in. Clinton Adams goes in as well. J.C. Christian spins away from the first tackle and it's swarmed by the Longhorns. Still on his feet, finally goes down, losing his helmet all the way back at the 34-yard line. But they'll give him forward momentum to the 46-yard line. No gain on the play. That'll bring up 2nd and down and 10 with 6:25 to go in the game as they trail 13-8, but looking to get on top. It looked like they had taken the lead on when Marcus Gray recovered the ball on the kickoff in the end zone, but they said it landed about 6 inches deep in the end zone once it crossed that line to make it a touchback. Jamari Towns brings his team to the line of scrimmage. The Kell fans down in front of us now getting into this game as they realize that they're in a dogfight right now. King Ishmael comes in motion. They'll swing pass to Tim Harris. He makes a little stutter step at the 49-yard line. And then Quincy Mager will clean it up right close to midfield. They'll bring up 3rd down, and we'll call it 6 on a gain of about 3, where Harris almost was able to break free, but Mager was able to stay there and shadow his man as he broke the ankles of the first guy that was there.
He really did, and now we're seeing why Kell's defense is the strength of their team. Because this is a very important drive, and they're actually standing up and rising up to the challenge.
Michael Valero coming over to talk, the defensive end coming over to talk to one of his coaches. Now he's back out there. They'll break the huddle, come to the line of scrimmage right at midfield, 5:13 and counting. Towns goes under center. 2 backs in the backfield. Showing blitz are the Longhorns. They go with the crisscross counter to King Ishmael. Ishmael gets away from the first man, takes it down inside Kell territory, down to the 49-yard line. And then Longhorns very lucky not to pick up a penalty as there was a little late gimme back and forth, more so on the Kell Longhorns part by one of their backups as number 80 pushed a guy in the back and sent him to the ground. Not seeing his number just yet. We'll try to get that name, but the officials didn't see it either as Kyle Hines very lucky not to pick up a penalty, which would have easily given a first down to the Osborne Cardinals, but now the Cardinals will have to punt this one away. It's a good snap, first good snap of the ball game. Gustavo Gomez punts this one up. It's an end over end. It's picked up at the 25-yard line by Brendan Langley. He's hit by the first man, the key height, and then coming up to make that stop, helping Height out, was Kai Wynn. He's all over the place, even on special teams. And now the Cardinals have to come up with their biggest defensive stand of the year, trailing by 5 with 4:16 to go in the game.
Both of these teams, they're showing you the strength of their team is the defense. And we always hear all the time, offense win games, but defense win championships. And this Osborne team has come a long way from last year. Like, just seeing them is really impressive. And that stand by Kell defense the last drive really showed why they're the leading force of their team also.
Clay Dodson, 3 yards deep in shotgun. Hands off to the yard line, dragging tacklers. Pulled down by Isaiah Branch, and that might put a little boost into this running game as Kell, and then the whole offense of Kell. First half, Kell had 162 yards of offense. Second half, 34 yards. So this Osborne defense, like we said, the keys to the game, they've got tackle, and they've been doing the tackling tonight as they've held 13 points and only close to 180 yards, but only 34 in the second half. Shotgun formation for Dotson. High snap, handles it, hands it off to Clinton Adams. That's down inside Osborne territory, down to the 40 and out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Ran out of bounds by Kai Wynn for the Cardinals with 3:47 to go in the game.
See, I'm really impressed with watching Chris Gaines right now, but at this point in time, if I was him, I would, Coach, give me the ball. Let me put this on my back. But, I admire him for going back in because he tried to tap himself out, but he went back in because he had a drive. You're playing well. Just finish the drive.
Clinton Adams back on the left side. Chris Gaines on the right. Go to Clinton Adams. Breaks away from one tackler in the backfield. Takes it down to the 35-yard line of Osborne. J.C. Christian makes the hit. First man there along with Alex Mealing, the middle linebacker. So the two linebackers make the stops for the Cardinals. And that'll bring up a 2nd down and 5 after a gain of 5 for Clinton Adams.
These wide receivers for Kell have been manhandling the cornerbacks for Osborne defense. They realize the weakness of this defense is the edge of the defense. They've really been attacking it on this drive.
Dodson standing 3 yards deep, takes the snap from shotgun. Hands off to Clinton Adams. Bowls right ahead, right over Kai Wynn. Wynn holds on and pulls him down. He also has some help over there from Khalil McIntyre, but they'll be close to a 1st down. Gaines slow to get up. Now he's on his feet. It'll be 3rd down. We'll call it a yard to go, 2:49 to go. They pick up this 1st down. That'll be it as Osborne has no timeouts left. Now Derek Cook coming over to talk to the official. Is he asking for a measurement here?
You have to admire Kai Wynn. He's every bit of 165, 170 pounds and threw all his body into Chris Gaines and had Chris Gaines getting up slow. Like the heart of that young man is amazing to watch because, like you said earlier, he's playing like he's 6'2", 230.
Yeah, he's been playing really well. Coach Cook walks over, not asking for a measurement. He just walked over and wanted the official to know, I want you to call timeout right at this point, as I don't want to pick up a penalty, but I want to run out the clock as far as I can, and that takes it all the way down to 2:27, and they lead 13-8. Big 3rd down play here. They convert. Ball game's over as Osborne will not be able to stop the clock the rest of the night. So over there's A.A. Smith trying to encourage his guys. You're on the sideline. You played a little defense before you turned it all over to offense. In situations like this, we know you didn't see much of them because Thomas County Central, But in situations like this, when it's one play that makes the game, you can look at it from the offensive side of the ball. What are the coaches saying to you, and what are you as players saying?
For me, it's like I worked hard all summer to prepare for this moment because this is a time when my teammates needed me. And when everybody came to a game, I want everybody to know why I was the person I was. I wasn't hyped. I came through in key situations.
So this is a key situation. One play, Dodson under center. Hands off to Chris Gaines. Bubble, ball on the ground. Scott O'Hehe picks it up, and the Cardinals hold, and a huge turnover. They've got one more chance as they get the turnover, knocked it out of the hands of Chris Gaines, and Scott O'Hehe comes up big time, picking it up at the 36-yard line as the Cardinals get the turnover recovery with 2:22 to go in the game.
That timeout was actually, I think, really good for Osborne to give them time to rest because they didn't have any timeouts to give, and that gave them a time to get refreshed a little bit. And they gave all they had on that play. That one play, and they really gave every ounce of their body to come up with a stop and actually created a fumble. Great turnover.
This is where they've got to be coached, the guys on the sideline. If you're near the sideline, get out of bounds. We don't have that big of a passing game, so we can't work the sidelines. We have one true receiver in the key height, and then the other one is the quarterback. As Jamari Towns rolling right, throwing right, looking, has height, and he gets out of bounds at the 46-yard line, stopping the clock, and deep out pattern by Nikki Height, hooking up with him for 17 yards and moving the chains, and the clock stops at 2:15.
This is not, Akeem Knight is showing you tonight why he's going to UAB. He is a great receiver. Well, not great. He's a good receiver, got potential to be great, and he runs really good routes and catch the ball really well. If they had a true quarterback here at Osborne High School, we'll be looking at a totally different team.
Well, you've got Jamari Towns there, too, that threw a perfect timing pattern ball, too, because he threw that before Height even broke his route. 1st down and 10 from the 45-yard line of Kell. And now a flag rolls, and they were rolling out looking to throw again. They were looking probably at Tim Harris, who was on this side. But now they'll be pushed back, another penalty, as it's going to be a false start on Osborne. And that's just got to kill Coach Xavier Smith. The guys coming, getting all that positive momentum, and now just stop dead in their tracks right there on the 5-yard false start.
It really does, and they still have potential because they haven't made too many mistakes. They had some penalties, but none to really hurt them because in the past throughout the game they've been overcoming those penalties.
118 yards total offense in the second half for the Osborne Cardinals, so they're winning the second half right now. 2:12 to go. Fakes the toss, gives underneath to a King Ishmael. Ishmael nowhere to go, maybe gains a yard on the play. That'll bring up second down and 14. Clock under 2 minutes now with 1:59 and counting. They trail by 5. At midfield is where he got it to.
Kell's defense doing a really good job of staying at home. You know, they faked the tall sweep and brought him back in right up the middle. He stayed at home at a good block, so Osborne have to do something really, really good right here.
Shotgun formation. J.C. Christian, the lone back. Now going underneath center is Jamari Towns. Height lined up on the left slot. Dropping back, throwing, looking for Height, and Height never even saw the ball. He had his man beat, Brendan Langley, but he never saw the ball. Jamari Towns may have needed to hold it for maybe a second longer, get a little more air, let him run underneath it because he had Langley beat. But by the time it was where he turned around, the ball was over his head already and fallen to the ground.
And Jamari Towns rushed that pass with no pressure. He see the ball. Height, like you said, Nike Height had his defender beat and just never saw the ball.
Team is hanging in there. Third down and 14. They trail by 5. 1:28 to go. Shotgun formation for Jamari Towns. Two-step drop. Throwing, looking to the sideline, has Nikki Height, who cuts back inside. That's actually a King Ishmael again this time. He stopped. They pick up the first down, but he needed to work the sidelines there, Joe. The coach is right next to us going crazy, saying you got to get out of bounds. They take it all the way down to the Kell 31-yard line. The clock stopped right now with 1:20. As soon as they set the chains, they'll start it moving again. So it may have been a big mistake there by a King Ishmael as he was not working the sidelines. He cut back to the middle of the field.
I'll never forget, I think one of my worst football games in the history of my career, actually didn't get out of bounds on a play against Maryland, and we ended up losing the game. So hopefully that he don't have that same experience.
And there is a flag on the play as well. Wait to see what this is. It was on the far sideline, so it was kind of hidden. Now we've got Harlan Johnson. Personal foul going against Kell. Big mistake by the Kell Longhorns there, as it's a personal foul penalty. Maybe when he was going down to the ground, he got a little bit of extracurricular activity coming in, a little extra shoving as he went down. A late hit. They'll pick up 15 yards and take it all the way down to the 15-yard line. Your number 2 key of the game could be a prophetic one with 1:16 and counting. They're hanging around. 1st and 10. They'll bring in motion the right half. Looking to throw, hanging the basket ball out like a little bit of loaf of bread. Pulls it in. Trailed by Clinton Adams, and he'll be pulled down there by Adams and Gaines for a big loss. They've got to get really quickly back up to the line of scrimmage as we're under a minute to go. The Kell defense has got to bow their necks here as it's a second down and 12 after a loss of 2. Towns goes under center. He just spikes it. That'll bring up third down and 12. Now they'll say it's 13 as they move the hard marker back just a little bit. Towns comes up hobbled as his center was pushed back into him and got him on the ankle. He's walking very gingerly over to the sideline. Now he'll do a U-turn and head back to the middle of the field as the Key Height comes back in with the play. Third down and 12 yards to go. They can make a first down at the 6.5-yard line. The Kell Longhorn fans with their cowbells down in front of us, shaking them, holding their hook 'em horns, finger signs up, and stamping, pounding on these stadium bleachers, trying to get loud, trying to let Jamari Towns not hear the call. Under center goes Towns, and now it is a delay of game, and the fans just did their job as they're going to push them back 5 yards on the delay of game. And that'll bring up third down and 17 with 46 seconds to go. Towns slow to get on Joe there, and you have to think if it was due to the crowd noise. They're thinking so. They're proud of themselves. Snap, looking to throw, throws Height's way, double coverage, and he throws to the corner, and he tried to push off. Height never made an adjustment towards the ball. The coaches up here want holding, but it looked like it was just an uncatchable ball as Quincy Mauger along with Brendan Langley both there. Now this is a fourth down. Xavier Smith all the way out to the middle of the field trying to get a penalty call, but it's not going to happen. giving the play call now to his quarterback, Jamari Towns, as the Longhorns been in a fight. And if they can hold one more down, they'll get away with the victory here. It's 4th down, 17 to go. Ball at the 23-yard line. They can pick up a first down at the 6.5. Towns from shotgun. Christian, the lone back next to him. 2-step drop. Throws right. Looking for Height. Height with the catch. No. Incomplete. To the ground as Brendan Langley, step for step with the coverage, went up to knock it down. Slipped as he was going up. But Height could not reel it in, and that'll go over on down to the Kell Longhorns with 36 seconds to go in the game.
Wow. That's all I can say. That was a great push by Osborne, but I don't know, it had to be some confusion on Nakee's Height opportunity because he wasn't getting his head down looking for the ball. So 2 balls came to him, 2 passes. He never even saw him. And I don't know what happened with that, but him not seeing the ball, he didn't go up and make a catch. I think, he made, out of those 3 balls came to at least 2 of those catches.
Yeah, he didn't have an idea. He's wandering around right now around midfield, just despondent as there was an injured player, Quincy Bogger, the free safety that was in on that play, slow to get up. Now he's up, but Nakee Height just unconsolable right now at midfield, standing in the middle of the Longhorn, just hands on his knees, down to the ground, just like, oh man, if I could have brought that in, it was a whole new ball game. But he just couldn't pull it in, and exactly like you said, never got his head around to find the ball. You have to wonder if it was the ball was thrown a little too early before he made his break, or just not being able to react to where the ball was. But anyhow it goes, that Kell's going to get out of here with by the skin of their teeth, without their star running back Jordan Chambers playing offense or defense. He only punted tonight, and now they go into their victory formation. But Osborne, once again, 4th game in a row, stuck around to the very end, just couldn't pull it out. And now they're jumping all over the place, showing a little bit of frustration. They need to kind of just pull themselves back, ease back, and live to play the next game, learn to play the next game, and just go with it and play with a little bit more sportsmanship than that right there.
And the good thing about it is, there's no such thing as a moral victory because they'd have had enough of them today. They're getting frustrated with being this close to the opportunity to win these games. And I'm telling you one thing, that I think, this is Coach Smith's first year. By what he's done with his team his first year, continue to build with them, I think next year, watching and see what his team turns into will be something amazing.
And that'll be the last snap of the ball game as the ball just handed off to the official. They'll run it down 10, 9, we're under 5. And that's your final here at Cobb Energy Stadium at Longhorn Field, where the Kell Longhorns escape with a 13-8 win over the Osborne Cardinals, as Kell will move to 5-2 on the year. They'll move to 3-1 in the region, as the Osborne Cardinals, they'll fall to 2-4 on the year and 0-3 in the region as well, as they're looking to try to build on what they've done on the defensive side of the ball, but they've got to still make those tackles go where it counts, as tackling. We saw them do it better, but at key times, they just weren't able to pick up those key tackles that would have made this an even closer game. They also had a couple of interceptions that could have been maybe avoided if Jamari Towns had been, like we said, a prototypical quarterback, to where he could hold the ball for a second longer while the guy was making a break, and not, just when he was making that break, not just throw it up for grabs, which happened a couple times.
Yes, and that just comes with just practice and getting more involved. It's going to happen over time, and they have a lot to build on. They've done a really good job of they're miles from where they were last year, but Kell was a really good team that came out and played hard and won the game they were supposed to win.
And we're now joined by Coach Doug Orbaugh, the defensive coordinator